Welcome to the CEO Crowd. I'm your host and coach, Rebecca. What's up? We're excited to invite you back or here for the first time, where we are talking all about how to survive a busy season. Lately, we've had so many women in our community, and I know a lot of people say that there's about 40 women in our community, and our wider network of over 250 women. And everyone's kind of saying the same thing right now. They're kind of saying, I'm showing up because I know this is good for me, but I'm tired. This is hard. I'm burning. And I wanted to create this show that was very specific to that experience in your business. I want to say experience because I don't want to say that point in your business, because I feel like there are multiple times this will happen where you feel stretched beyond belief and you're trying to work out, dear Lord, what do I do? What do I focus on? Please help me. Like, this is the episode for that. So this is a really tangible guide to a busy season, a few perspectives that could be really helpful right now, and a bunch of tools to get you unstuck. And that is our signature framework, and I'm going to share it with you today. So sneak peek into the CEO Crowd membership if you're not already there. And for everyone else, everyone that is a member, everyone that's in our network, I feel like this will be just such a beneficial episode if you are literally just feeling like I am in the busiest season of my life, because I 100% feel that. And one of my first coaches said this to me. She was like, I will experience something and then everyone else will experience it. So I apologize if I've created this issue for you. And let's figure out and navigate how to get through it together. So we're going to start with this concept of showing up because you know it's good for you. I love when people do that because it just is such a testament to, I know what's really important. And I think this is the first perspective that we have to think about, is a lot of the time when, especially when the word burnout is mentioned, like we have our anti-burnout framework I'm going to share with you, but when the word burnout is mentioned, then people tend to think you need to rest, you need to do nothing, you need to have a duvet day, you need to watch Netflix, you need to have a bath, you need to go for a walk, you need to do something, go somewhere, eat yummy food. 100%, like, do all those things if you want to. I'm 100% here for that, right? But I think that what we ignore then is, and I'm going to genuinely speak for myself, is people like me, that if I did that, if I genuinely just took the day off today because I felt like it, and that's like one of the purposes of being an entrepreneur, is to have that freedom. But ironically, if I was to do that today, oh my gosh, I'd be so behind. Like, that's not good for my self-care. That's not going to be good for my level of burnout, because it's going to add more stress, it's going to add more drama. So I think that instead what we can do is we can think about, okay, I need to let go of the right things here. What are the right things to let go of for me? And you have to choose what to focus on. And a way that I like to do this, and you can literally see this if you scroll back in the Instagram of the CEO Crowd, there were probably 3 weeks that I didn't post any reels or external content. I literally just did world domination with my husband. It's our kind of Sunday show, if you will, that we do together, and we share our goals. And if you look back, you will see that there's no other posting apart from like maybe popping into a story here and there, not been very present on social media. The reasoning behind that is because we don't generate a lot of leads from social media. It's not a focus for my business to grow specifically through attraction marketing. It's not my skill set. So to take away social media in a busy season is a smart decision for me. And you'll know if we're in a busy season because we won't show up as much on social media, because I'm aware and conscious of what are the things that actually move the needle in my business. And I would be far better served in that 30 minutes before I had. So now we work with a lead gen specialist. I'm going to be really honest about that. Before we worked with her, I would have spent that 30 minutes doing the lead generation myself. Now I would spend that 30 minutes, working on better strategies for lead generation, maybe giving her some other ideas of posts that we could do, looking into Facebook groups that I think are a good fit, things like that, serve my business more than posting on social media. If you have a business that's very heavily based on social media and attraction marketing, then it's like, well, maybe take a week off the podcast or the YouTube video or the emails. It's a balancing act for sure, but if you go into it with this energy of, I'm letting go of the things that don't serve me, what are those things? Then I think the first thing you need to think about is my bottom line affected if I take this away? Because my bottom line is not affected if I take away social media. It will be over time if I continued to do this multiple times, but we're talking about the busiest seasons of your life. We're not talking about every other Tuesday. We're talking about when you're in a busy season. So work out what are the things that are actually very necessary for you to move the needle in your business to keep going. And that will be different for everyone. So if you hear people say move the needle and you literally are just like, I don't even know what that means, then the way to work it out is where your client's coming from. Focus there. That will move the needle. And if you don't know, if you're like, I've been doing this for X amount of years and I don't really know where my clients are coming from, either ask them or track it back if there's a way that you can track it with your own internal systems. If you haven't got to the point of getting clients yet, everything should be in aid of how am I getting clients and having a very clear idea of what steps you have to take in order to get there. And if you're like really at the beginning, I would say it starts with market research, starts with understanding your audience that you currently have or the audience that you want to go into, and then creating around them, creating something, whether it's a digital product, program, course, coaching, service, and then selling it and deciding how you're going to sell it. So leads are just people that are interested in your business. We want engaged leads, people that are actually interested and want your services or your products. Where are they hanging out? You could ask that in your market research, just FYI. And then how am I monetizing from there? And I know there's a lot of steps, and I don't want to teach you to suck eggs if you're here and you're a seasoned business owner. But that's something you could do that's going to move the needle. Those are a few things that you could do to move the needle. So when you're showing up because you know it's good for you, I love that for you. Keep showing up for those things that are really important, but also let go of the things that are not serving you, that are not for this season, that are not generating you leads, that are not making you money. Because at the end of the day, if your business does not make money, unless you have a like pool of money that you're, able to swim in, then you're going to go out of business. So I want you to be super successful. That's why I say focus on sales and income and leads. And I don't think that's a very popular thing to say in the world of business now, because I think that in the world of business, a lot of business coaches are like, it's about, and I understand it is absolutely about alignment, but they're like, don't do the things that you don't want to do. And I don't think that that's accurate, because I actually think if you look at your business and you think, what are the things that generate an income, you're probably going to lose a lot of the things that actually really matter to you for different reasons. So, for example, I do this podcast and show and YouTube purely for me and because I enjoy it. I'm doing it at 6:50 in the morning before I rush off to a dentist appointment in a hot minute. And I'm doing this purely selfishly. I woke up early to do it because I enjoy it. I don't want to let it go. So if I wanted to let go of something that wasn't set up to generate leads from us, I would let go of this for a few weeks, and it wouldn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things, because this is a long-term strategy. It's not something that's like going to make us a million right now. So with that, if it's really important to you, continue to show up, because that's potentially the joy in your business, but be very conscious that the other side must exist. You can't just do all of the pink fluffy fun things all the time and not care about the money that's coming into your business. I think that that's where a lot of business coaching that I see actually falls down, is that people aren't creating real game plans to make money, because there's like this ick factor around money, which is very dramatic. And I know that that is like, everyone has to go on that journey. I just feel like it doesn't have to be that dramatic. Your business exists to help people, and to help people, you need to be paid and you deserve to be paid. So, perspective one, essentially, let go of the right things for you and your business. Second perspective is taking busy season as an indicator. So we 7x our signups in January, which like it's a nicer problem to have. It's like winning the lottery. And it's now set to get busier. We may not 7x our signups this month because a lot of my time and energy has been put into how we serve now the all the new women that we have in our program. So it's set to get busier. So we've decided that we're hiring right now and we're going to bring someone in so that essentially I can do a lot of the other things that I've been kind of putting off that are starting to become, it's almost like a red flag in my business. Like, hey, you haven't thought about me. And like our event is in less than a month. My husband was like, how excited are you that your first in-person event is in less than a month? And I was like, I'm really excited about it, but I conceptually understand what we're going to do, but everything has to be set up around it. Email sequences, how we're going to promote it, who we're going to promote it to, so many other things, sales pages, how much are we going to charge? Like all of that stuff is just like in the ether right now. And I'm praying it gets downloaded soon, but I'm also going to create the time for it. So because it's getting busier, I know that we really need to hire. So that's an active choice that I'm making. But we have to understand that while this is a busy season, it's not necessarily a busy life if we make the right decisions now. And this is not to shame people for right or wrong. And we're in a very privileged position to be able to hire right now. But even if you cannot afford to hire, there is always going to be someone that is willing to work for a testimonial, work for with you so that you can change, like exchange services. There are always options. So I believe that busy seasons aren't a busy life and that you can start to put things in your life, whether it's a hire or whether it is like more self-care. Something that I have picked up in the last, oh my gosh, in the last 2 weeks has been working out again. I genuinely wasn't doing it. I was sitting at my desk 8 till 8 before we went on a trip for 5 days to Hawaii. So I was working so hard so that everything was ready so that the first week that I came back I didn't have to do every kind of weekly thing that we do in our business. And I just feel like it's been so busy and I've neglected that part of my health. It's actually really important. So I've started to integrate that back in. And it's not, 6 days a week at the gym. I'd freaking love that. I think that'd be great. But that takes at least 2 hours out of my day. Can't afford to do that in terms of time. And not necessarily that excited to take that amount of time out because that's not self-care for me then. That's just another pressure. So decided, downloaded fitness app for home, not doing it every day on like 2 days on, 2 days off, never done that before, working like an absolute dream. Because again, busy season is not a busy life. This is not like you're going to be like this from now until forever. It's an opportunity and an indicator that things really need to change. So I have a lot more energy now that I've been working out. Who would have thought it, right? Oh my gosh, all the gurus tell us that. That would make sense. So that's the second perspective is busy season is an indicator for you that things can or potentially need to change. And when you lean into that instead of fighting against it, you're going to feel far less busy. You're going to feel a lot more peace. You're going to be a lot more excited. And with that, let's dive into some tools. So this is our anti-burnout framework from the CEO crowd, and I'm going to go over it probably in 5 minutes or less. And this is how I genuinely like pull myself out of the suck if I'm in it, because I know that so many people get in it and then they feel all shades of drama. They feel guilty because they feel like this again. They feel like they're not performing. They feel like they're not enough. They feel like they're not worthy. And instead of focusing on any of that, I'm just posing different ideas, different questions you can ask yourself, different activities. So the first thing that I do, so the anti-burnout framework is called vibes theory. The first thing that I do is visualization. I just catch myself if I'm thinking negatively. So example, also in the midst of busy season, my MacBook decided, may she rest in peace, to leave us. She died in the middle of call, which was not ideal. But I remember sitting there with this laptop. This call is abysmal, in my opinion. I think that, I'm very fortunate. We had a masterclass teacher. She was crushing it. Everyone else had the best time. It was amazing content. But I remember sitting in this middle of this call thinking, this MacBook is broken. It's not going to work. I'm getting the wheel of death. And even if it's rainbow, it's still not like making me happy. And it was very frustrating. And I caught myself and I thought, how good is it going to be when I get a new MacBook that's not going to do this? And it's those very simple shifts of visualization. I'm not talking about like sit down and visualize your life for like 20 minutes and have a conversation with your higher self, although I love that for you too. I'm talking about in those moments where things are not as you desire them, change it. What if this MacBook worked? What if this wasn't a bill and it was actually an invoice and someone paid it in full? That would be great. So start reframing those little niggles that you get all day because they compound. And then by the end of the day, you're exhausted and you're frustrated and you're stressed because all of these things have gone wrong. When actually, you could have just flipped the perspective very subtly on each of those things to be a lot more excited about, oh, but this is coming. Oh, but this is possible. I think that is the gift of entrepreneurship, is that you can see possibility where other people just don't see possibility. So that would be your visualization. I, as implementation, I feel very strongly this is the hill I will die on. I don't think when you're burned out that you need to take a month off of your business. That would not serve me. For some people, absolutely that will serve you. If you're going through, I mean, we're talking about burnout, we're not talking about like a complete potential mental breakdown. And I think that needs to be taken so seriously. But what I'm saying is this kind of, I don't want to say like your like hashtag basic burnout that people experience because the world asks so much of us and we put so much pressure on ourselves because of what we've learned through society. That's where implementation becomes very important. And implementation, usually for me, if I'm in this season in this craziness and I'm feeling like I don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing, because we all get there, then I'm like, okay, I need to write a short, very short to-do list just for today. Because my to-do list is as long as, my arm. There's a million things that I would love to do, and I'll keep them all on a list. I need to know what I need to do first, and giving myself that clarity, setting a timer and implementing and doing whatever it is, game changer for me every single time. And the next thing to think about is B of Fives theory, is belief. And this is where I'm just going to give you what to believe and you can accept it or not. But believe that busy season ends. Believe that it's more than you could ever imagine and that the results are 10 times what you expected, and it's the best thing that's ever happened in your life. There's the belief. And that belief is so much better than speaking over yourself. I'm busy, I'm showing up, but I don't really know why. Like, those things are going to take the wind out your sails. What if it could be exciting? What if it's a busy season, but this leads to more clients, and more clients leads to more impact, or more clients leads to that like trip to the Bahamas that I've always wanted to go on, that's all expenses paid for my partner because, I just love them and how much they've supported me lately. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is for you, it's your belief. And speaking greatness over ourselves is like, I know personal development 101. I know that, they've done so many studies, Japanese scientists, over water. And if we speak kindness over water, then actually the water molecules become a snowflake, and how beautiful. But if you speak unkindness, harsh words, rudeness over water, they become like these sharp little, like, those ninja stars, or they're just a blob of like nothingness with sharp edges. And that that's your body. We're 80% water. Do you want to be a jagged blob situation, or you want to be a snowflake? Like, personally, I'm choosing Elsa from Frozen all day long. So that's what we have to think about when we think about belief. Like, what are you speaking over yourself? Is it kindness? Is it going to lead you to the vision? Is it going to lead you to what you want? Or is it not? And if it's not, it's time to just change what you're saying to yourself. I know I'm making it very simple, but these things are simple, not easy to implement or remember to do. So this is your reminder. Then we go on to E, which is energy. I used energy hacks all the time. Like, I went for a cold shower, 3-minute cold shower before this to be awake. I love an energy hack, a biohack. I am here for it. There are so many. One of my favorites, put on a song that you just love. If it's Britney Spears, we're all gonna love it. Or a little like Taylor Swift Shake It Off number. whatever it is for you. I really love Lovely Day. It's by some like old school singer and I can't remember his name right now, but it's just like really beautiful. Something that just reminds you, do you know what? The world is good. The world is good. This is a good place to be, because the alternative, maybe not so wonderful. We don't know. So listen to something that's going to bring up your energy. Get outside for that walk. Like, I don't feel like I have to tell you all of these, like, this is your hashtag basic personal development work, journal, meditate, things that give you energy, but make sure they're things that give you energy. If meditation is the most stressful thing in the world, don't try and do it in the middle of a busy season. Do something that genuinely gives you energy back, whether it's a coffee with friends or a cocktail, whatever you choose. Do things that give you energy and get very clear on what those things are, because they're going to look different for you. So you're going to need to test and try things than they will for anyone else. And you will have different reasonings for doing things. For example, people talk about lighting a candle. I love that. But if I light a red apple wreath candle from Yankee Candle, I'm going to feel so much better because my mum loves that candle and it was on in our house for Christmas from like 4 or 5 years ago at least. It must be longer than that. It must be like 10 years because my brother-in-law introduced her to it and he's been around for a long time now. So that gives me so much energy, not because it's the candle, but because I have something attached to it. So think about the things that give you energy. And the final part of vibes theory is social learning. And this is where we kind of come full circle and people showing up for things because they know it's good for them. I love when people invest in learning and continual learning, or they show up for things that they've promised themselves and that community that they were going to show up for, because there's no better place to be pulled out of the suck than in an environment of people that are there to do that. Like, I genuinely feel like a big part of my role as the founder of the CEO Crowd membership is to hype everyone up, is to rep our people, is to make you feel like you've got this and you can do it. Because I feel like a lot of the time we're scrolling on social media, comparing ourselves, or we're around people in our lives that don't necessarily believe in our vision or in our goals. And I don't think that's okay. So I think that being in environments of social learning, whether it's purely motivational and hype, or it's a place where you also get to work or do the work, which is what we offer at the CEO Crowd, or it's, your favorite, genuinely, I say guru a lot, but your favorite guru. I know that people have spiritual leaders, or it is someone that you just love when they speak, maybe it's an entrepreneur that you look up to. Whatever it may be, pull in the social learning at this time, because then you'll hear that you're not alone. Because most people, I'm in a huge membership right now, a huge mastermind. There's probably, I think there's like 400 people in the mastermind, but it's, $20,000 for me and my husband to go. And they're talking about this too. Shocking. That's what they spoke about this month. They're talking about how to essentially overcome stress. And I feel like this is very resonant with that. This is just like the Rebecca spin. This is the CEO Crowds version. But everyone's talking about it right now because everyone's feeling it. And one of my spiritual mentors actually was talking about how we think that the beginning of the year is a good time to set goals, but she was mentioning that the energetic new year doesn't start until part of the way through March. So right now we're all pushing and forcing when we could still be in that like restful winter season. But society doesn't necessarily allow for that. So I feel like it's very important that we do those moments of social learning where we get nuggets like that and we think, oh, it's okay. And we can self-soothe. And I just think that that's one of the most powerful things that we can do. So if this was useful, especially the toolkit, then check out our CEO Crowd membership. The notes will be in the description. And if you're like, I don't know, then completely understand. Come test out our community at a free event sometime soon. You'll also find the link in the description, and see how we host networking events that just hit different. Why people actually show up when they're like, everything's hard, but I'm still going to make this a priority. If that is a squad that you want to be in, if you want someone that's going to hype you up, I'm 100% there for that. And you also want a squad, like a literal crowd of women, of female entrepreneurs that are in this online space, that are all doing it, that potentially feel very much like you feel right now. If this has been your particular issue, then come along and test out one of our events. We hope to see you there. And in the meantime, as always, we'll all be over here at the CEO Crowd, believing in you.